The enemy is trying to take us away from what we're actually supposed to do. If you have constant distraction or procrastination, the enemy delays you because he can't stop you, only you can.
Knowing how your mind functions gives you liberation.
Not until you can rearrange the inner workings of your mind will your reality be rearranged, as within, as without.
You want to reach your goal? How to reach the goal the quickest? Be focused with your energy, meaning be focused with the mind. Don't lose the goal from the mind.
There's two ways to see the world. Some people see the thing that they want, and some people see the thing that prevents them from getting the thing that they want. I could only see the bagels. He could only see the line. And so I walked up to the line. I leaned in between two people, put my hand in the box, and pulled out two bagels. And no one got mad at me. Because the rule is, you can go after whatever you want. You just cannot deny anyone else to go after whatever they want. So the point is you don't have to wait in line. You don't have to do it the way everybody else has done it. You can do it your way. You can break the rules. You just can't get in the way of somebody else getting what they want.
Why we feel like certain urges or we're tempted to do certain things, it's because like the enemy is trying to take us away from what we're actually supposed to do. The reason you feel temptation for certain things and certain sins is very specific to what you're supposed to do. If you have the urge to smoke or damage your lungs, it's because your voice was meant to worship and be heard, and the enemy is trying to silence you. If you have crippling self-doubt and insecurity, it's because you are meant to lead and inspire. If you weren't dangerous to darkness, it wouldn't try to mute your confidence. If you have constant distraction or procrastination, it's because you carry strategy, vision, and ideas from heaven. The enemy delays you because he can't stop you, only you can. If you have fear of rejection or abandonment, it's because you carry a spirit of belonging and reconciliation. You were made to gather the outcast, so he tries to make you feel like one.
People are identified with the wrong view. And this is the reason why they suffer. This is the reason why they're anxious. This is the reason why they're depressed. Because it all derives from the wrong state of looking out into the world. So again, with our thoughts, we create the world. So therefore, investing a little bit of your lifetime and figure out the question, how does this work actually? And this is the value. Knowing how your body functions gives you health. Knowing how your mind functions gives you liberation. Learn discipline. Be kind. Be patient. Learn to not get distracted. Learn what means focus. Whoever is seeing this video right now, in 100 years, they're all not here anymore. So what is the truth? The truth is our lifetime, what we have right now, it's very, very precious. With the knowledge of our lifetime has an end. My mission, my wish for you is to really contemplate about how do you want to spend this lifetime? In what do you want to invest this lifetime? And therefore, it doesn't need to be Shaolin. It doesn't need to be any specific person that you follow, but whatever decision you are taking in your personal life, just always take care and ask yourself this question, is this really what you want to do with your lifetime?
He was like, the only thing that you can do is win so big that all of them constantly compare themselves to you, and then you'll forget they exist. He said, success is the only revenge. He's like, it's not the best revenge. He's like, it's the only one. There's no other revenge.
The Lonely chapter describes a time in which you're growing, you're changing as a person, and you're now so different that you can no longer resonate with your old set of friends, but you're not sufficiently developed that you've got the new set of friends that you're going to grow into. And this is the Lonely chapter. And the problem with it is that you're always, the desire to sort of regress back to where you were is always going to be there, and you're going to have uncertainty. There's not even the promise of glory or success or triumph when you get through the other side? What am I pushing toward? You know, you're telling me that I'm not going to go out on this night out with my friends, which I've done for the last 5 years or 10 years in the town that I grew up in or went to university in or whatever. You're telling me that I'm not going to do that because I'm going to get up and I'm going to meditate or read. Who even knows if meditation works, right? Like, or you've got all of these questions in your mind, and all of your friends and all of the dynamics and the temptations pull you back toward that. It pulls you back toward the old version of life. So this lonely chapter is a period through which I think everybody needs to squeeze. Anybody that decides to go from a place they are to a place that they want to be is going to have to let go of people who can't go there with them. And this isn't a value judgment about the people that are doing the personal growth thing are better than the people that are already fine as they are and are happy leading a different sort of life. It's that if you know that there is something that you're meant to do, if you know that there's something that you're meant to change, you will have to let certain groups, friends, routines, places, activities, recreations that you do, you're going to have to let those go. And there is this, you know, the Rocky cutscene lasts for 90 seconds in the movie, but it can last for 5 years in your life. And you have no idea whether or not it's even going to work. And that's the bit that always got to me. The bit that always got to me was I didn't even know if there was going to be any glory on the other side. It's like ordering an Uber and never knowing if it's going to arrive or not. And you think, well, I'm just stood here doing the thing, but I don't know if it's going to come out on the other side. And I can promise you, anybody that has done anything, moved from any place they were to any place that they want to be, has gone through this lonely chapter. There's no greater waste of time than justifying your actions to people who have a life you don't want.
I want you to write this down. Write this down. I am so happy and grateful. Write it down. I am so happy and grateful that I am God's highest form of creation. There never has been, and there never will be, another person created that will equal me. I love my life. I'm in control of my life because I'm in control of me. I know that whatever happens outside of me has no bearing on who I am. Read that 100 times a day. Write it 100 times a day until you start to understand that what's going on outside got nothing to do with who you are. Nothing to do with who you are.
Work expands so as to fill the time available for its completion. This I just got from Google, but I drew it out for you. So here it says the same amount of work, and then here is a time allocation. So we have 2 hours, 4 hours, and 1 day. When we are given 1 day to complete a task, we will allocate all of our time and energy and resources all across a 24-hour span. Versus if we were given only 2 hours, we would get things done. Our mind is a rubber band. Everything that I'm holding right now is because I've stretched to allow myself to hold it. And anything that I've sabotaged, it is because my mind is like a rubber band, it has snapped. Think about your hair tie. When you first get a hair tie, it's brand new, it's very, very tight. My girls with curly hair, I know you know how to stretch your rubber band because you have to. To hold your curly hair, you have to go like this and stretch it out for a few minutes. That is exactly how your mind works. You have to stretch it out. And how do you stretch it out? Inner work.
Now, as you can see, he's got handcuffs. Pause. Because he's handcuffed to his old frequency. And what this represents, really and truly, it is metaphorical and symbolical of you. Because whether you realize this or not, you have an old frequency and a new frequency. And these two polarities are going to clash at every single turn. Now, the process of you actually materializing your desired reality requires for you to disassociate from your current reality. Now, there's a couple of things you have to know. Your old frequency has a certain set of characteristics which make it very difficult for you to leave, which is why even though it feels like you're trying your absolute best, you just can't get away. It feels like you're being held, and every time you try to get away or get out, your handcuffs come into play. Now, until you understand what those characteristics are and why they're actually the way that they are, you will remain handcuffed. You have to understand, not until you can rearrange the inner workings of your mind will your reality be rearranged, as within, as without, on earth as it is in heaven. You have to understand, before anything can exist physically, it must first exist vibrationally. So the process of rearranging your internal structures to rearrange your reality is primary. Stop getting caught up in the gimmicks of it all. And as I always say, spirituality without the ability to control your reality is vanity. Manifestation is simply internally shifting to a degree to which you're no longer emotionally dependent upon seeing reality change. emotionally dependent upon seeing reality change, when you're good with it and you're good without it. That is when anything will ever manifest, for a whole bunch of reasons.
I do think it is a blessing being able to just experience. It's a blessing that we have been granted the possibility of simply experiencing what this existence is capable of creating. I do believe that we all have a source. There is a source. Whether you call that source is the universe, whether you call the source it is the God, whether this source is the infinite energy, I don't know. There's so many different expressions to it. But when I look at all these teachings, all are always pointing at one and the same thing.
But the real measure of someone's success and happiness is if they can hear the voice of self-doubt and still move forward anyway. So in the 1970s, a psychology professor by the name of Robert Kleck from Dartmouth, he conducted this fascinating experiment where he brought people together, he split them into groups, and with one group, he drew a scar on their face, from their right ear to the side of their mouth. Big, ugly scar, and he let them see themselves in a hand mirror. Then he sends the groups out to have conversation with strangers, right? So you have one group that has this scar, another group has no scar. After the conversations, they come back and they report on how they felt the conversation went. The group with the scar overwhelmingly reported that they felt judged, it was tense, the other person was distant because of the scar. But here is where it gets really interesting. If we rewind just a little bit, right before the researchers sent them out into these conversations, he applied moisturizing cream to the scar. So they'd just seen themselves in the mirror. He then applies this cream, but he doesn't tell them that he's removing the scar.
Wow.
So now they have no scar on their face, but they believe that they do.
No.
They go into these conversations believing, expecting they will be treated badly, poorly, judged. And that's what they experienced.
Wow.
It's wild. When you think about the implications for us in our lives, okay, it may not be a physical scar, but we all have beliefs or expectations about ourselves based on how we see ourselves, our self-image. And then we're going to notice things that reinforce it because of how the brain is wired. Confirmation bias, selective attention. Your brain is wired to magnify what you focus on. So if you're going into your life, into your conversations, into your meetings, into your work, believing that you're not worthy, that you're not capable, that you don't deserve it, you're going to notice things that reinforce that, and it's only going to make you feel worse. So we know that about self-image. So the first question to ask ourselves is, what are these invisible scars that we are carrying throughout our lives? How can we become more aware of them?